In this video, we're going to try out some vintage Nikon lenses and mount them to the Nikon Z6ii and see what kind of images we can produce with those. Welcome back to the channel. Recently, I acquired two vintage Nikon lenses from a family member of mine who had stumbled across a box of camera gear, and there was a Nikon D70 in the box and another lens. Well, I think the D70 had been dropped, so had the lens. It was pretty obvious they were broke up pretty bad. But these two lenses looked like they were in pretty good shape. So what I ended up with is a 50mm 1.8 AF lens. This is not an AFD, this is the AF lens. And I also ended up with a 70 to 210 f4 to 5.6, and this one's just a little bit different. This is a push-pull zoom. Okay, you got to push and pull. These will couple to the Nikon Z6ii via the FTZ adapter. They will meter. You can control the aperture, and the only thing you can't do is you can't autofocus, because these are the old screw drive lenses, and the Z cameras and the FTZ adapter does not have that capability. So you have to focus these lenses manually. But in the Nikon Z6ii, you can set up focus peaking, and it'll tell you when these lenses are in focus. So we're going to take the rig out to a location, and we're going to try out these lenses, and then we're going to show those in the video so you can see what kind of images we were able to produce using the Nikon Z6ii camera. We come out here to one of my favorite photography locations, which is the Cumberland Mountain State Park, located in Cumberland County, Tennessee. I'm going to go down here. I've got a friend of mine from the Cookville Camera Club that's coming along this evening, and we're going to go down here and shoot some photographs of the bridge and try to capture some of the fall colors that are out here at the state park. And if I get anything good, I'll show those in the video this evening. Like I said again, I'm going to be using the two vintage lenses, the 50 1.8 AF Nikon and the 70 to 210 push-pull zoom f4 to f5.6 AF. Well, I've set up down here. This is a composition that I've not done before, and a little bit closer to the bridge, which is right over there. And you see across the lake, the restaurant. The lake is almost glass smooth. Anyways, I've got this 50mm on this D7000, and I want you to look at this. This thing looks really tiny on that camera. It almost looks like a miniature lens. By the way, I did not have a polarizer for these lenses, so I'm shooting these unpolarized at this point. Okay, so we put the 50mm and the 70 to 210 on the Z6ii using the FTZ adapter, and I've got the FTZ adapter number 1, which has got the obstruction below it there. And anyways, we're gonna put all these in the computer when we get home and show them to you, and you decide if these vintage lenses are all they're cracked up to be. Here we are in Lightroom, and the first image we're going to look at is one that was taken with the Z6ii and the 50mm 1.8 lens. The settings for that was 1 second at f11 ISO 100, and this was manually focused on the bridge. The focus point was here on the bridge. And I want to zoom in on that bridge right now and let you see. It does need a little bit of sharpening. So normally this is a raw image. You would have to sharpen your raw images. So I'm going to go right into Topaz Sharpen AI, which is my preferred sharpening tool. Sometimes I use the Lightroom sharpening, but most of the time I use the Topaz one. I like this model here that it picked, motion blur normal. So we're going to zoom out, and what we're going to do is we're going to selectively brush the sharpening on the bridge. And how you do that is you go down here to the bottom where it says selectively sharpen your image, and you click on that, and then you go to add, and then you take your brush tool and just brush along the bridge here. That's the only part that's going to sharpen. It's not going to sharpen any other parts of the image. And then you hit the apply button, and you have to hit the apply button one more time. And we'll let that render, and it's going to take us back to Lightroom. Okay, now we're back in Lightroom with the image, and as you can see, it's a lot sharper than it was before. We'll look at it from before, and here's the after it sharpened. Looks really good. So this is not a bad looking image for a non-polarized lens. I didn't have a polarizer for these lenses, and this is just a quick test to see how it works with the Z6ii. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at this other image, which is this one right here, was done with the 70 to 210 lens at the same settings, 1 second at f11. We're going to zoom in on the bridge. And again, I think it needs sharpened. So we're going to go ahead and go to Topaz Sharpen, and we're going to do the same exact thing we did for the 50 millimeter lens. And we'll look at this, and I'm going to pick the same option again. I'm going to selectively brush it, and I'm going to scroll my mouse wheel here to zoom out a little bit. And we're going to hit the add button. The add button. It's not doing what I want it to do here. Let's do this. Cancel. Let's try this again. We'll zoom out right here. And we're going to go to the selectively sharpened. And, oh, you got to hit the, you just got to start painting. You don't have to hit the add button. So we're selecting the bridge now. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Yeah, you don't have to be real perfect. Not for this purpose. Remember what I said before, posting things on the internet, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to go ahead and apply that. And as you can see, the bridge is now sharpened. And this is the before. And this is the after the sharpening. So, in my opinion, both of these lenses are really good lenses. They're about as sharp as anything I've seen from the Z line of lenses. And they seem to work pretty well. The only drawback is you have to manually focus them. But it's not a real big issue to do that. So, as you can see, the vintage lenses will work on the Nikon Z6ii, Z7ii, all the mirrorless cameras that you can put an FTZ adapter on there. And the only thing is, you have to manually focus them. But I didn't find that too difficult to do using the focus peaking option on the menu. So, anyways, I want to try these lenses out a little bit more in some of my landscape photography and see what kind of images I can produce with them. It sure gives you a different look when you're using these full frame lenses on a full frame camera. So anyways, thanks for coming and watching the video. I hope you found it useful and got some good information from it. So until next time, this is Ron Durant. I'm a photographer living in East Tennessee. Y'all have a nice evening now. Bye-bye.